Chaim this year is dedicated to my best friend. So, so I'll go on the idea of the tefillin. The tefillin campaign in and itself, giving people a little opportunity. And this is the famous guy from Chewy.
Who are you talking to? Who's that?
This is the famous travel blogger right here, Chewy.
Fucking not famous here. If I'm famous, you give me $20. Right?
$20? No, why not? You see the price?
You can't film me.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought you wanted to be in the show. Okay, fine, no problem. Keep driving, mother. He's gonna. I should pay him to be in the video. You want a taxi ride or not? So I'm gonna get to the tefillin. The campaign itself, it's not insulting the old tradition of tefillin in Judaism. Not at all. It's got nothing to do with it. I'll tell the story and you'll be the judge. Take it or leave it. I was davening with a couple of litvaks. They call them shachniks, but they're not really. It's a joke. In Chabad, we call people shachniks. There's no such a concept, right? They daven vasikin 6:30, and I haven't been putting on tefillin for many months or many years. I could count up maybe 3-4 years. I haven't been putting it on at all. Put it on before Yom Kippur because I met a guy Yom Kippur. I happened to be in a play. It's a nice boy. I put on his tefillin ahead of Yom Kippur, but not because of the holiness of the day, because I won't fool myself, because Yom Kippur is about karbonis and avodah and kehanim, and we don't have that. So we're not fooling God, so we're not fooling ourselves. I mean, the God of the Bible is very clear what he wants. Not talking about the modern day Hashem that we don't even, it's called anthropomorphic. Anthropomorphic means you're imposing on God all your beichsfaras. There's a rabbi in Miami, Gidel Fenster, nice guy. Gym guy, worked out, sexy guy, whatever. And he's teaching Breslev. He's teaching Vier Versteht, he's doing it on his level. And he's telling a bunch of young women, Hashem doesn't want you to do this. How do you know what Hashem wants? When was the last time he spoke to anyone? When's the last time you spoke to him? How do you know? How do you know he wants you to be comfortable? Maybe he wants you to be uncomfortable. How do you know he even wants anything? How do you know he wants? This is theology, but we're going to get to that. So I davened in the morning 6:30 because I was with someone who was going to Minyan. So I said, you're going to Minyan? I used to do this. For a while I was practicing this. Before I started getting into the books and stuff, I was actually davening with Sfardim in the morning. At 5:30 I would get out of bed. About 5:45, we'd be in tefillin. So I davened that morning, and that was a Friday. And then I was in Crown Heights, and there was Moshe Feiglin with Aliyah Hasidim at the table on Crown Street and Kingston Avenue, and they offer you to put on tefillin. And, I'm not in a rush anywhere. It wasn't annoying, so I put on tefillin with them. So one boy watched, and he said, hey, I saw on your Instagram today that you posted that you were in Talis and tefillin in the morning very early. So you did put on tefillin today. So I said, yeah, you're right, honey. They say, Vaichik. I said, you're right. This idea of tefillin on the street and this satisfaction that someone gets, and he thinks it's like a basketball in a net. I used to always wonder, why is it so? You're throwing a basketball, it goes in the net, and then it goes back out. What's the point? And that's the feeling we got from putting on tefillin on another person. It was just a basketball. It was grinding water. In Hebrew, they would call it tochen mayim. It's pointless. It's meaningless. It doesn't mean that the person doesn't feel anything. If you go over to someone and you tell him, what's your name? He's going to feel great. You're your cousin. You go to this shul. I go to that shul. You're Sephardi. I'm this. I'm that. You find out your 15th cousin. It's anything you do feels good. So why did I put on tefillin twice in a day? One was I was enjoying my time with these litvaks, working people. Some of these guys were very serious people. I was, the schmoozers and shul tell you this guy. But it was one person I came for, and then I got to meet the other person. Then I met a cousin of a Lubavitcher guy that his cousin was in that shul, a Chassidish, only Chassidish tzura in the whole shul. It's in Flatbush. So back to the Pri Migdim is very strict. The Pri Migdim says if you missed tefillin even one day, you're a chayti Yisrael b'gufay and you're a Karkpetha the manach tefillin for that day, even though it's a strict law. And I think the Pri Migdim, probably his psychological disposition was he was probably such a type of guy that was angry at someone. And nobody would be chayshah the Pri Migdim of being angry at anybody and being an asshole, because he was his book is established. Even Shabbos Tzvi's book looked fancy with a whole blot, a sharblat. It was beautiful with a whole zach. Because that's what people are. They're suckers for frame and for organization. I've noticed that in Vegas, people are real suckers. As long as you build it and you package it right, people are suckers and they bow and they pay. And they let you rip them off when they're already paying you. They let you double rip them off as long as you package it. But what's the Pri Megadim's vart? So I asked this boy, he's a nice boy, he showed me the Pri Megadim. I said, I really appreciate it. I didn't know there was such a mandamar. I knew there was some people out there who were writing their own boich svaras on halacha, even though it doesn't hark back to the actual halacha, but they wrote it like the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Gansfrid. He wrote things like, Haitzah Zedel Vatala is the biggest Aveda in the Torah. Dude, first of all, it's not an Aveda. Second of all, how do you know it's the biggest? This is what he was probably struggling with himself. Now, so what is it? So Yuda Brook tells me, Yuda or Mendy Brook, I think it was, from Montreal. He tells me, I like the way you brought out that point, that the Rebbe brought the tefillin from a high place of only men. Men was a symbol of status and purity. It was idea. Men, even though men should go to the mikveh if they had a keri, men had the status of purity. Only a man could be a kohen gadol, right? In that time, there were many women priests in other religions that were doing just fine, but what do you want from 4,000 years ago in the Middle East, and these mud hut dwellers and the way they looked at things? And if you want to say that the Banu Shalom commanded that that's how it is and it doesn't make any sense and you have no idea of history, so why was Dvaira and Deborah, the judge, Neviah? What was she, a judge or a Navi? Depends who you are. If you're a Muslim, a Christian, or a Jew, it depends how you look at history, right? The Muslims call Moshe Rabbeinu a Navi. They call Shlomo Melech a Navi. Shlomo Melech was a non-stop stupper. You know what I mean? Can you imagine people came to his Bezdin and said, hey, we have a problem. I'm sorry, I have my 1,500th shtup tonight. You know, he's busy, right? But okay, so when I get to the tefillin, I'm sorry I'm not coherent. If you like the video, good. If you don't, then don't watch it. Watch something educational. Christine Hayes, these big thinkers, good stuff, academics. Go for that. So, what the Rebbe did is fine. Do it wherever you want. It's America. You could create your own religion. You could do what you want. And there's room in Judaism for you to take the tefillin and wrap it on someone's foot. It's okay. My older brother was a shtickle Breslover back in the day. And I was a Slobavitcher going after these people. You want to put on tefillin? And these people were old-time traditional Jews. And my brother said to me, it doesn't even smell right. They think you're a missionary. You sound like a missionary with your American accent. You know, because the American missionaries coming to other countries like Korea and Israel. A guy would come to a kever of a tzaddik and read the whole book of Tehillim, and because the guy had no beard and he's driving a pickup truck, so me, as a Lubavitch trained boy, I'm asking him if he wants to put on tefillin, because I think he's one of those candidates, customers to put on. So my brother tells me that doesn't have a tam. Okay. But if you're an American rabbi, an engineer from, you went to Berlin and Paris, and you came to America, and you took over your father-in-law's business, and you started selling candies on Kingston Avenue like machputs, and you were giving dollars on Sunday and making brachas, I get it. You wanted to make the tefillin and give people appetite. Eli Bornstein in Italy, the shliach in Italy, said that the tefillin wakens up the appetite. Really? Maybe. There's some other cool mitzvahs in the Torah that you can wake up some appetite, man. Shech the chicken. It's not about the tefillin. You're allowed to take the tefillin and wrap it on someone by the beach, and the women at the Kaisel, I'm all for it. But don't come and make yourself like you're a frum yid teaching a Jew Judaism. You're not selling snow to an Eskimo. You're not selling Judaism to old-time Jews.